What's going on, guys? This is Costi with PickDawgz. I'm here with Eric for episode 11 of Tales from the Ticket. Eric, welcome.
What's happening, man? I got a new little setup here, so I'm going to be looking at you, looking away from you, but the information will be the same.
Now, obviously, for those that are new, this show is a little bit different than any other show that we provide on this channel. This is not a free prediction show. Like, we break down the board. We don't break down today's games. We sometimes will, but more if it's for the Q&A. People could ask us questions live on air regarding betting strategies, betting information, sportsbook navigation. I mean, it doesn't matter. We will answer as much as we can, as fast as we can, but it's also just a chop it up show just to give you the state of the union of what's going on in the betting world. So with that being said, Eric, man, dog days of summer, you would think so, but in reality, there's action everywhere.
Yeah, I'm just looking. Micah just went 3-0 this morning in the Wimbledon, and he's got a gazillion bets going right now. So remember, the Wimbledon just started. Are you a big Wimbledon follower?
Sorry, I was responding to a text. So I am and I'm not. Maybe you have a different perspective. I have not had my personal betting groups attack Wimbledon like your guys do. So I don't really get into it in the first few rounds. I'm more a fan of the game. I just really don't have the information or the syndicates. I'm not just going to make it up as I go with tennis. It's just unless I have data and I have information. I personally don't handicap it, but from a fanfare, I probably start watching it Sweet 16 into the final, quarterfinals, semifinals, and finals. But outside of that, I don't really watch the early rounds as much.
Yeah. So as you know, so to explain to a lot of the people, we're in the same office. I mean, right now I'm in my home office, but we're in the same office. But just because we're in the same office doesn't mean we deal with the same groups. We delegate the responsibilities. He has his groups. I have my groups. He's communicating with his book of clients. I'm communicating with my book of clients. So even though, yes, he technically has access to everything I have access to, it's also a matter of the palette of the type of client that you're dealing with. Some clients in this business are in the business of wagering as a source of entertainment, which in the past I used to say in a negative connotation, but it's okay if you're doing it for fun and you don't care about the 3 WNBA games I'm about to release right now, where I'm on an absolute tear with the groups that are giving me the WNBA. It's okay if you don't care about Wimbledon and you can't handle the variance. And so a lot of things that the betting strategies that matter are what is the pain point for a lot of the clients. I had a client, I always use that term, not a client. I had a individual email me at Eric at PickDawgz, and he said, I watch your videos. I'm really interested in your product. What's your long-term discount? I gave him the discount. He replies back. And again, just to show you the mindset of this person, he was looking at Al's All Access, where all the documentation is there on the website, plus everything that we break down on the YouTube videos. And he says, well, can you give me 1 or 2 weeks free trial? And if I'm successful, when I'm showing him data from September of last year, my response to him was, and I'll read it to you because I literally just sent this to him right now. My response to him was, tell me if you think I was
You weren't rude, were you?
Well, I'm going to ask you if you tell me if you think I was rude. I'm going to actually read you my response. I won't continue to dignify this exchange. I'm the doctor. You are the patient. If you want the advice, those are your options. If not, all the best. You don't email an expert and dictate terms. If you can't afford me, that's completely fine. No need to waste either of our time. Sounds like a wrap. Feel free to keep watching on YouTube for the free information.
I think, that's a perfect response. I think the biggest misconception and really the biggest hurdle for us is there's so many people now on the internet that claim to be pros, that claim to be experts that claim to be winners. Like, nobody talks about, are you going to Bet Bash? Nobody talks about, are you meeting with the masterminds behind all these different syndicates?
Right.
Whoa. We got a Jay Briggs here.
Oh, bring it up.
Welcome. Hey, man, come on, sit on down.
I got a G Trading. What's up? Come on, sit down. Let's talk about it.
I tried to pull a Pathy.
Come on, do it, baby. Do it. Tails from the ticket with JB, baby.
Nah, I just popped in to say what's up.
Nah, no, you're staying. So we're going to ask you something.
We're locking you down now. You don't get to just do that.
With football being,
I actually got some good questions for you, Jay. So go ahead.
Football being, less than 60 days away. When people ask me, because I get a lot of calls and requests, and they go, well, Jay's really good at NBA. I said, you guys fail to realize he is that good in football also. Don't buy his weekly or daily. The real worth in anybody's system is the season. If you buy Jay's season, you're going to make money. If you do the daily, then you're what I like to call mind fucking yourself to thinking that every single day needs to be a winning day. Right? Am I wrong?
No, you're right. You're 100% right. We have documentation showing, how good I am over a full season, NBA and football. We're going to turn a profit. Now, every day, every week, hell, even every month isn't going to be exactly what we want it to be. We win more than we lose, but it's ups and flows and everything. And it's all about the full sample size of data is what we're mainly focused on as professionals at the end of the year.
Eric, you got some questions for him?
Yeah. So what is the difference in the way that you handicap WNBA from the way you handicap NBA, since there's less teams, less action, less games, and it's not daily, as opposed to, like Al was saying, he doesn't understand why they do the WNBA schedule the way they do, where every week you have dark days like Monday or Tuesday where there's just like no games, and then they load them on Wednesday like today.
Right. That's a great question. For me, I kind of look at hoops through the same lens. Now, in basketball, I have a lot of specific spots, a lot of specific situations that I love attacking. And one thing that I've noticed is they don't all carry over into the WNBA, but a lot of them do. Like I like to look for back-to-back spots. I like to look for motivation angles, revenge game angles, scheduling spots, scheduling errors. And the WNBA is kind of one of those where in the NBA season, you get used to the scheduling of the NBA,
Mm-hmm.
teams off 2 nights and they'll be back. You get used to it. The WNBA schedule, kind of like you were saying, with what Al was saying, is a little more volatile than the NBA. But, I believe they have 5 expansion teams coming over the next 5 seasons in the WNBA. So I think over the next couple years, couple seasons, we'll see the schedule broaden. We'll have more availability throughout the week, where there won't be as many dark days, and we'll have better, instead of like today we have 5, tomorrow we have 1. I think we'll have better scheduling overall for the course of the league with more teams coming over the next couple seasons.
My question to you is, I know you're big on, we talk about this all the time, single revenge, double revenge in the NBA. How much emphasis do you put in that in the WNBA, or do we have enough data for it to matter that much? I know in NBA it matters.
NBA for sure matters. WNBA, I would say, sitting right here right now, it's more of a case-by-case basis than it is in the NBA. But I would still say it's a really strong angle to look at. It's not the end-all, be-all style angle, but it's a puzzle piece that you can add when formulating the whole puzzle. You feel me? It's just another layer of something to add when you're putting together the pieces of why you want to bet a team on a certain day.
Yeah, man. And it's funny, like there's certain handicappers on this platform that play a certain way. Like you love the dog. You've always loved the dog. Now, I got to witness this outside of your premium picks, outside of the games that you give out on the morning show. When we're in Vegas during March Madness, Jay, I'm telling you guys, Jay is a dog better, true and true at heart. What is it? Pig Suey? What is it?
Pig Suey.
Pig Suey. This motherfucker is screaming, "Woo Pig Suey!" The Calipari boys. He's not taking the spread either. There's no spreads involved. It's all money lines. So this is the authenticity of this site. That's why this show is a little bit different, where we don't really get into the daily board. You guys, Jay was on hours ago where you guys broke down the entire board. This is more of the Q&A that people get to ask us questions live on air, and we answer them as well. So it's really more of the education side of it. But telling you, don't sleep on Jay in the NFL. The guy, I mean, we talk off camera a lot, and we've had a pretty good run. I'm excited for it. That's my sport, as you can tell right there.
Season, we're under 30 days, right?
Welcome to Spain Pods.
I love that they
I
still.
love it. He always posts it on Instagram. It's funny. The ad too. It's hilarious.
It's so we actually have a preseason game in July.
For real?
What?
Yeah, the Detroit Lions play. Pretty sure they play July 30th.
Yeah, I knew we were under 30 days for sure. I didn't realize it was in July. Oof. Counting down the days, ladies and gentlemen. Counting down the days.
Yeah, we got
Real quick, not to interrupt. So Jay, I'm not going to say the play, but so it just to shows you how much action there is at this time of day. It's 1:01 Eastern Standard Time. I'm hitting these WNBA games in all the different accounts that I have. And then I log in at like 6 accounts, and that one particular game is gone. And then I see the total drop like 5 points. It's like they must just pull players at random, not like in the not like in the NBA where you get like updated alerts in real time. And then they just like freeze the game, take it off the board, and then now they just put the game back on the board.
So the NBA, I've talked about the roster manipulation, the injury manipulation over the past couple seasons ad nauseum, and how they manipulate the lines, and they know whether these guys are playing in or out, well in advance. They know, and they a lot of times withhold that information. I would say in the WNBA, it's not as bad, but it's still prevalent. And it's still something that you need to keep an eye on. For me, I'm not as big on injuries as probably the general masses, and a lot of people are. I'm somebody who thinks, a lot of the injuries are baked into the line anyway. Of course, I do keep an eye on it. It does swing games a lot of the times, but in the grand scheme of things, most of the time I would say it's built into the line, but you do have to watch out for how they manipulate the lines due to the injury throughout the day, for sure.
The average person wouldn't have any idea that they just pulled a game off the board and the total moved 5 points in the WNBA unless they were watching this in real time.
So it's something you definitely
Thursday, July 31st, Chargers Lions Hall of Fame game.
Hall of Fame games in July. Wow.
July 31st.
There'll be a lot of starters. You're going to expect Amra to play a full game.
You think?
Robert to play? No, nobody's going to
be playing. Wait, you think? You caught me.
Jared Goff. Gibbs might give us a whole half. No, you won't see any of that. Those guys won't even sniff the field.
Yeah, I was going to say, you got to throw me for that one.
You expect over-under for Pathy to play in that game is higher than Jared Goff.
There you go.
Can you imagine Pathy as a starting quarterback for the Detroit Lions? How do you get – it's kind of like the what's his name? He was the Miami. He's I can't remember his name. Remember he had the big beard. He was the Miami quarterback.
Well, how about the big beard story? How about the funny story was my daughter went to she was in the same high school.
Fitzpatrick. There you go, Fitzpatrick.
Yeah. How about this beard? Everywhere I go, they call me Weddle. My daughter and Weddle's daughter were in the same class and in the same school, and he would come pick his kids up, and they would be like, I'd be like, dude, you got a better beard than me. You got a lot more money than me. Where's Weddle playing now?
He's retired.
Oh, there you go. There's your answer. Where's Tucker playing? 10-game suspension if he ever. I don't think he'll ever get a job again.
Nah, he
He's
might.
retired.
Yeah, he might be done.
Yeah, the whole fake
Houses
10
for sale, Jay. If you want to buy a house in Baltimore, Maryland, it's only going to
right around the corner. Was it like $3 million?
Yeah, 3.2.
It's really not bad. That house would be $20 million in LA.
When do you guys start your NFL prep? Like, when do you really get into nitty gritty?
Well, for me, I don't prep ever because I'm just a middleman.
For a better question for you is when are you getting with your groups to figure out if there's a different plan for the season, if they're attacking it the same, or you're talking to these guys about everything every day? So it's kind
everything every day, these guys. And so the irony is, we just broke this down on. So from a marketing point of view, and look, I'll say it on the air. NFL is king. Obviously, that's what brings the most clients and the most interest. From a professional betting point of view, the only thing that matters is college basketball. First, that's number one. Not college football, college basketball. Like Al was basically saying, if you look at the betting syndicates that make the most money, Micah's group, Dave Miller, and even Al as a handicapper, what do you need? So that's the thing that people miss. What do you need to be successful in sports betting? You need volume.
Right.
And the only way you can get volume is when there's a lot of volume. So like Al was basically saying, Al played 300 NFL games and he played 700 or 800 college basketball games. It doesn't matter how great he does in the NFL. It's still a one-off. So, I think, what did he say? Costi, he was 379, 279, and 2. Yeah. 379, 279, and 2 versus like in the NFL, it's on the PickDawgz leaderboard. It was like 300 games. So I think the emphasis from a marketing point of view is always going to be the NFL, but from a betting strategy point of view, the reality is I'm more excited about 4 college football games starting on August 23rd, than the NFL, if that makes sense.
Yeah, actually, it's funny you bring him up because he just sent me this record. He was just going back and forth over the last 5 years.
He's not. I don't think he's watching. He's just texting you.
Right? 31-49, 31-49 wins, 25-45 losses, 72 pushes, 55% win rate.
Slow down, man. Slow down. Say it again. My brain can't process.
3,149 wins.
Okay.
2,545 losses, 72 pushes, 55% plus 349,000 if you're betting every game for 1,000. So 349 units if you're just flat betting every game at 110.
And that's NFL for him?
No, that's everything.
Okay.
No, that's everything in 5 years.
Shout out, man.
So volume is king, but there's other people, which is really cool to bring to this platform, that everybody's got a different approach. I mean, Jay, last year and the year before, NFL, you slaughtered it. You don't need a lot of games to make money.
Right.
You're a situational capper. So if you can't afford somebody that's subscribing for a year and playing that, some people's lifestyle doesn't allow them to play that many games. It's not even how to make money. It's their lifestyle isn't built for them to play 30 games on a college football Saturday. And you sit there and you pinpoint 2 or 3 games, bang, you can go 3-0, and it's still worth it for somebody that doesn't want to put that much work into it. So it's like 2 spectrums. One is, now NBA, you put a lot of volume out.
Yeah, I think I had damn near 700 plays in the NBA this season. But I'm a high volume NBA bettor. I'm not as big on college hoops as everybody else. NBA is my really high volume. I bet college basketball a good amount too, but mainly for me at that time of year, I'm knee deep in NBA basketball. So,
and last year, to be honest, look, it's called spade a spade. We had a lot of turmoil within the company.
Yes,
our creator, our leader, passed away, completely out of left field. And we had to pick up the pieces, and it's hard to do the work, especially in the mental grind work that we do when that is happening and we're trying to shift. So look, we made it out through last year still there's a lot of people in the plus, but I think this upcoming year we're focused, dialed in. It's going to be the best year yet.
I agree. I couldn't have said it better myself.
Well, yeah. So let me ask you this. Just because you brought up Mitch, Jay, how old were you when you started working with Mitch?
We are in 2025. I want to say it was 2022.
So how did he teach you? What did he? This is a question.
I don't think people know. Ask him how he got into it.
No. I want to, but I got a bit first. What did he teach you about winning that you didn't realize prior to hooking up with him? That like, did he like in the conversations? Did he invoke? The
biggest, I would say, easy is that don't get too high on your wins, don't get too low on your losses. That was one thing he preached a lot to me.
So I'm sure you were more emotional day one of meeting him than at the end.
For sure. And I still wear my heart on my sleeve. I'm still an emotional bettor. Everybody knows that.
The best is when you're at the game and you're tweeting and you got your face down.
Yeah. So, of course, but with the type of volume we put out, you're going to win and you're going to lose. It's about, do you win more than you lose? And, that's kind of the name of the game. So you're going to lose. Just don't get too low on them. And this is mainly for my bet straight. Stop parlaying. That was another thing that he kind of ripped into my head. Or parlaying is fun. Do it more so as fun, but
lottery ticket.
Yeah, you're bound, like now, we enter plays every single day. It's very rare that somebody goes 5-0, 6-0, on the daily, especially when we're doing like even money and stuff like that. So it's just a numbers game. And so that was two things he really, helped change my life with was stop parlaying as much. You love a game, put more on it, bet more heavily on a game you love, and don't get too high on your wins.
Before we answer that question, Costi, what about your money management? Were you betting recklessly, and then he taught you how to bet smartly, or did you get into the money management of that? Jay?
You said what? I'm sorry.
So, like, did he get into the money management? Like, for instance, guys call me all the time and say, "Oh, I bet 500 a game," and I say, "How much do you have?" And they go 500. They're blowing their last, 500. And did he teach you the reality of how pros bet and they don't go balls to the wall in every game and blow their bankroll? Or were you kind of already, you knew not to do that? Or you're like every other new gambler, you were doing that?
No, I had a pretty good system before coming, and he kind of just helped me hone it in. Especially in a sport like baseball, Mitch was fucking GOAT betting baseball. Like his strategy, the way he attacked it, I've kind of tried to adopt it here more of recent, attacking a lot of dogs, attacking really good pricing, things like that is kind of how he more so helped me in that aspect. But as terms of, for me, bankroll management, I had a pretty good idea on what I was doing before. I'm still not the best at it. It's something I still am working on to this day. Are
you a revenge bettor? Do you get impatient?
For sure. Sometimes I gotta, like, all right, bro, we're done for the day, bro. Or sometimes I chase. I'm no better than the next man. But as long as you try, and that's one thing he told me, as long as you actively are trying to become a better bettor every day and you're implementing the right practices and things like that, you will see the results happen. So, that's kind of the name of the game. Just, you're not going to be a millionaire tomorrow, and but you could lose it all tomorrow if you don't work the right way. So,
but give us the story of how you came on to PickDawgz. I don't think a lot of people know this. It'll be cool for our fans to really understand what it took.
It was so PickDawgz used to do a becoming a handicapper contest. They had done that for multiple years. And the year that I entered, they had 2 contests that season. They had one on Instagram and one on Twitter. It was a 30-day contest, and they were going to take the winner from both contests, and they were going to give them an opportunity to become a handicapper. So I was just like everybody else. I used to watch the show. I used to like to hear other people's thoughts on their bets. I used to kind of try to just make me like what I like already more. And, I found Mitch just like everybody else found Mitch, talking shit on the internet. And I loved his personality. I love how strong he was, how opinionated he was on why he felt the way he felt. And so I was like, you know what, bro, I'm going to enter this contest and just see what happens. So I entered both of them, Twitter and Instagram. And I was leading both contests pretty much the entire time, like the entire month. I could probably go through and find what my final record was if I really go and look for it. Yeah, so I was leading the contest pretty much all the way through. And then it came down to the last few days. I think I was in second place on Twitter, and I believe I was in first place on Instagram. And at the time, it was a good amount of people in both. I want to say it was like 500 in one, probably like 600 people in the other. Like it was a pretty good amount of people in there, and I was on a run. I just so happened to be in one of those runs. Crazy enough, though, I did not win, y'all. I did not win. On the last day of the competition, I could have entered one play, lost that play, and secured the win for sure in one of the leagues. I ended up entering 3 plays, lost all 3, and I finished third in one of the competitions, and I think I finished second in the other. And I was hurt, man. I was hurt because I really this is something I always wanted to do. I've loved sports day in, day out since a kid. Like if you talk to any of my friends, my family, they thought I would be working in sports, like that's just who I've been my entire life. So when I saw an opportunity like this to basically just talk my thoughts, my opinions on how I see everyday's action playing out, man, I couldn't believe that it was real. And that's something I really wanted to do. So I end up losing. They ended up hiring both the winners from the Twitter one and the Instagram one. I was extremely sad about it, but I was like, you know what? This ain't the end. Like, this is not the end. So I would DM Mitch. I would just DM him. I'd be like, hey, I promise you I have the work ethic. I'm going to bring you a whole nother side of viewership that you currently don't have. If you give me an opportunity, I promise you I'm going to run with it. And he would read them. He would like it sometimes. He would say, we'll set up a meeting. But I could, everybody knows how busy Mitch was. At the time, I probably didn't know nearly how busy he was, but I'm surprised he even had the time to read the DM and, give me that time of day at that time. But something in my brain just said, Jay, stay persistent, stay persistent, stay persistent. So I just kept DMing him like, hey, I promise you, if you give me a chance, an opportunity, something beautiful will come of this. And one day, I don't know what it was. I guess I just hit him at a great time. I sent him something like that, and he responded instantly and was like, we'll set up a time to talk. And I was like, oh, shit. I'm so giddy. I'm jumping around the house. I'm like, oh, shit. Like, first, Mitch just is talking to me. I was a fan at first. Like, he's talking to me. Not only that, he's gonna give me a conversation to try to join the team, bro. I was over the moon. So it took a couple days to kind of set up the meeting. He's really busy. I kind of would just text him like, hey, I'm available this time to this time. And eventually it just happened. He called me and I was like, hey, this is Jay. I would really love the opportunity. And y'all know Mitch, he's like Mr. No bullshit, Mr. like save the fluff, save the love. Like, what are we talking about?
Yeah, I remember our first meeting as well. That's fine.
Yeah, so like I'm all giddy in the conversation, like, damn, like, yes, I really want, and he's just like, fine, I'll give you a chance. I'll give you an opportunity. I was like, for real? And he was like, yeah, he was like, I liked your, because during the contest we had to do I think it was one video a week, or every couple days we had to enter a video. So he saw my face, he saw, my delivery, and of course he had a month documented of how good my picks were. So it was just a perfect storm, and he gave me an opportunity. I think I was on the drive-through probably like 2 to 3 days later. Brian Bittler helped set me up. Tony T let me come on his show, and the rest is history, you know. And then I think later on that year, Ron Romanelli was killing it in baseball doing the MLB rundown. And I was like, hey, Mitch, you know, basketball is my favorite sport. I think I could do something really similar that Ron's doing with basketball. And he was like, I like that idea. He was like, what you going to call it? And I was like, I don't know, Jay's Rundown. He's like, no, you can't fucking call it Jay's Rundown. And then he was like, let's go with the jam session. And I was like, all right, I like that. And so that's how the jam session was born. And I've been, you know, recording that every single day there's an NBA ever since. And, you know, it's blown up. It's become one of the biggest NBA betting podcasts on the planet. And it was all thanks to Mitch giving me an opportunity that he didn't have to give me, man. So that's kind of the story of how I'm here and how it happened. And I did exactly what I told him I was going to do. I told him I was going to work harder than he may have realized. I told him I was going to bring him another audience. And I think that's why we bonded the way we did, because I was able to really come and do exactly what I told him I was going to do. And I think he really, really, really respected that. And we formed, you know, a father-son relationship. And it still hurts, man.
So the age difference, I was going to ask you, so the age difference, did you look at him more like as a business, like your boss, your friend, your mentor, or all of the above? Because of the age difference.
All of the above. Mentor, friend, boss, father figure, the fucking GOAT, man. The GOAT, bro. So I miss him so much, bro. So fucking much, bro. Words can't even describe like how he changed my life and what he helped do for me, bro. So
now, you're not allowed to make me cry on this show, man. I've done it.
You pop in here, man. I was having a really good day. Now I'm tearing up, man. Jesus. Hey,
I know.
You got to warn us first. You got to warn us.
It's just getting hot in here. Woo!
Woo! Where's my fan?
The GOAT, bro.
Oh no, it's just the light behind me. That's what.
Yeah. But so Mitch's side of the story was a little bit different. He said, man, Jay would not stop emailing me. He used the word email. You said DM, so it's a little bit there. He said he would not stop emailing me. He got second place. He should have got first. Wait, the first place go to Mills? Is that who won it?
It was Joe Von or Mills?
It was Mills. It was Mills.
It was Mills, yeah. So he's like, man, this guy is so persistent. He would not stop emailing me. He said, I'll put you on the channel if you just stop emailing me. Stop emailing me.
It was like a leave me alone thing, right?
Like the leave me alone thing. But that's just how his personality was. And I mean, it's just the culture that we have here. Everybody's got a different part and everybody's got a different story of how Mitch told me, fuck you every morning for the last 6 months before he passed, every single morning, because he believed the one
even
day,
the morning he passed.
Yeah. And yeah, man, it's just it's the culture. And it's amazing how far we've come in the last 6 months of just being independent, all being, you know, in our own independent cities, but working as a team collectively for the greater good of this company and this community. It's not really a business. It's a community. We put all of our content and education and free selection, everything is to give back. And in return, it works as this unified front. And he did, you know what? He did say that. I remember he told me that. Carrie, I remember the day when he said that. He said it was, and Jay, look what you've done, man. Between the morning show and the graphics and taking it to the next level and showing up. I mean, you're showing up every single day. Jay, you know, Eric, Jay fired me this morning. He actually fired me this morning. Told him I couldn't be on the show on Friday. He said, you're fired. I've already been fired from the drive-thru. I've been fired from the morning show a couple times. They keep bringing me back. I don't know why they keep bringing me back, but they keep bringing me back.
Yeah. So,
I mean, you guys are rare because, you know, it's interesting because when I first met Mitch, it was like he got it because he's, you know, obviously, Jay, we're closer in age. He was 59, I'm 52. So, you know, and so like he understood the syndicate world of professional betting. I don't know how much you as a fan, you can answer the question, understood the whole pro side of it where there's like nobody knows the name of a player, nobody watches the games, nobody cares about anything but the line that they're betting on. Are they getting value? It's a very analytical, unemotional, stock market type way of betting. You guys are watching me here, and I'm literally, I mean, Costia will tell you, I just blew out 3 plays while we're on there live, and you see me writing all this stuff down. And what I'm writing, I'm getting flow of data from professional betting groups. And then I'm basically like, I'm old school, chicken scratch with a notebook, and I'm organizing all this stuff. Who's moving on what, who's doing what, who's hitting what. And I couldn't name you a player on any team. So like, were you exposed to that prior to coming in on PickDawgz? Because Mitch was. So our first meeting, he was like, you know, he knew I wasn't a handicapper. I was just a conduit. I was a middleman to the groups. And so we hit it off immediately because it was bringing something different to the organization as opposed to like Jeremy that Costi brought on, who's really knowledgeable, knows every name of every team, of every player like you guys. So that's why for the morning show stuff and the long form live talking about games, I'm useless. I know my 20-year-old son knows more than
We know that. That's why you were fired from the morning show.
Exactly. But my question to you, Jay, is were you aware of that side of the world of betting, or not really till you got involved with this side?
I would say I knew it existed, but I didn't understand it in the slightest. You know, but you know,
like the idea that people make money betting on sports and can't name a player, like that wasn't something that was like, whoa, that's crazy.
Yeah, it definitely was a culture shock to me at first, but you can't argue with the data. Y'all know I'm a numbers guy. You can't argue with the data. So the data is the data, and I usually say everything can't be found on a spreadsheet, but a lot of stuff can be found on a spreadsheet.
Exactly.
So you know, I'm one of those guys. I love how in this game there's a million different ways to do it, you know, and everybody has their niche way of doing it. And that's one thing I love about our community is how I would say it's probably the best community of bringing everybody together with a different style and bringing them together and trying to help people understand the different styles and help them find the best way to become the better that they want to be.
Yeah, I mean, I talk to a lot of people on a day-to-day basis because my phone number is listed on all over the site. I'd say 80% of the phone calls, I divert them back to PickDawgz Premium and literally coach them. Like, this is the person you probably should buy because of your betting style. Oh, you only like betting NBA? Jay's your man. I'm telling you, you have to commit to a month minimum. Or if you don't commit to a month, don't expect to have any sort of streak. Not that the streaks are actually a real thing, but whether you're going to be upset over a day is not going to determine the outcome of this guy's that you're purchasing's seasonal results. I mean, on the pro side, Jay, and I know it's hard for people to really understand this, less than 1,000 games is a crapshoot. Nobody puts data together less than and it to a normal person purchasing. They're like, well, what do you mean? You lost 3 days in a row. So what? You lost not 3 days in a row. You lost a day at a time in different geographical locations, independent games. But because it's so, Instagram has really flowed this model of streak betting. All these different cappers are on. I don't name people on here. I don't look people. It's the free country. They can market how they want. But when somebody puts I'm 10-0 buy my stuff. It's all made up because there's no 10-0. It just he won 10 times in a row at 10 different, if that's even real, where most people, there's not many sites like PickDawgz that shows transparent records like we do.
Right.
It's just not. And that's why you don't see any 70%. You don't see any 68% for seasons. They're in the 50s. That's real. When you start seeing something.
Another big piece of that is we're not trying to sell you minus 250. We're not trying to sell you minus 300. I promise you I could go 10-0 betting minus 300. Like
you probably not in baseball you wouldn't.
Well, probably not in baseball, but in basketball, NBA, man, I could run off a 40-game win streak if I'm betting straight money lines. But that's not the name of the game we're playing. We're trying to help you hit minus 110 or plus money. We're trying to actually actively beat the books. We're trying to help you become a better to where, we're not betting the Dodgers. What are they today? Minus 295 against the White Sox. And count that as a win. We're not doing that. So, and if you are doing that, and if that is the way you bet, hats off to you. But there's a great amount of data out there telling you why that's a terrible way to bet and why you will lose a lot of money quickly. So, yeah, man, it's all about finding the right strategy for you, sticking to that strategy, whether you lose 2 weeks in a row, whether you lose a month, stick to that strategy if you truly believe in it and let it rock out over an extended amount of time. And and if the strategy is correct, you should be up. So like for me, for example, I had the worst stretch of my career in the NBA playoffs. From round 1 to the conference finals, I was fucking terrible. I couldn't throw a rock in the ocean. I think I lost in that time. I might have been down 16 games or something. Like, lost probably close to 2,000 units. So it was one of those, but still finished positive for the season. Got it all back the next following rounds. Like, it's one of those where the spots and situations that I've attacked over the past couple seasons just didn't play out well during that 2-week stretch. Was I supposed to just throw everything that I've worked hard and built out the window and be like, all right, that shit's over with? No. Specific spots, specific situations, betting strategy, betting formula, and winning over an extended amount of time, not trying to get rich quick.
That's the way you do it, man. I mean, it's at the end of the day, if you talk to a pro bettor and you asked him he had a bad 2-week or even a month stretch, he would laugh at you because he doesn't believe in a month is a sample size. But again, because we're so hyper-focused on the leaderboard here, it does matter because people care. That's really what it comes down to. The people that are purchasing and believing in you, they're the only ones that care. You personally, it's going to turn. It's not something that's consistent. So that's real stuff, man. And listen, Jay got second, and his persistence paid off. You don't think his persistence in sports betting is going to pay off? The guy is not going to quit. That's the surplus here. No matter, we show up every day. Think about it. If you have a bad losing day, the last thing Jay wants to do is come on the morning show and talk about the next day. He feels it, but he does. That's just what we do.
The other thing that's hard, look, for me, it was a learning experience. Told Mitch this several times. I mean, look, you got 250,000 subscribers on the channel. Thousands of people watch us, know who we are. As we all know, we went for the celebration of life in Vegas, people flying in to meet us. I personally have been doing TV and radio since I was 18 years old, literally, and I'm 52. So people always knew who I was, but it was a very small market. So the learning curve for me was getting clients to understand the long game as opposed to the short game. And honestly, it was very challenging in the beginning. I had to talk to Mitch on a daily basis. Like, I got guys calling me up. They're interested in my product, and they're telling me they need one winner to join. It's like, I'm not used to that world. I'm in the high-end boutique world of dealing with, like I always use the dealership analogy, which is PickDawgz is like, we have everything. We're a super lot. We got a Toyota Corolla. We got a midsize Mercedes. We got a Ferrari, and we got a Bugatti, right? We got something for everybody. We got something for the parlay card player that's trying to have fun, betting 10, 20 bucks a game. And then he brings me in as we got the Ferrari, Bugatti in the back, where you're going to do, like, even now, let's say I have 50 hardcore clients from the PickDawgz community that if I go 0-10, it doesn't even matter. I don't even, like, literally peep. You don't hear anything. And then you have other clients where you lose 2 games in a row. It's like, what's going on? You know, I always say, because you guys, when I say you guys, the handicappers that are premium handicappers, do you personally get a lot of emails and DMs and comments on Instagram and on the, like, where people are engaging with you? Or you kind of just like, when you had that bad stretch, are you kind of just like not looking at the hate, so to speak? How do you deal with that on a daily basis when it's coming in a real-time manner?
Nah, I'm chronically online. Like, I'm online all damn day.
First thing Mitch told me was, don't look at the comments. And then the best thing was when we went to Vegas and we got the bands, I just remind myself, you know, with the make it a winning day, be kind to one another. Because, you know, I used to read the comments, I would get heated. And then I'd call Mitch and he'd be like, dude, just ignore it.
Yeah. You know, I'm online all day, and having one of the bigger podcasts here on the network, you know, the jam session comments could get crazy sometimes. So
when you were on that slump and you were getting hate,
they were killing me.
So what, did you respond or just stay silent?
No, I own it, you know, because I know who I am and I know what I'm capable of. So it's just like, I'm in a funk right now. I'm telling y'all I'm in a funk. There's nothing all I can do is come in here and be honest. That's all I can do. When I'm seeing the board well, I come in here and I tell you I'm seeing the board well. When I'm not seeing it well, I do the same thing. Hey, man, I done lost 6 games in a row, bro. I'm trying to shake this shit. It ain't going to plan, but here's how I see it playing out tonight. Here's why I am attacking it the way I'm attacking it. We'll see how tonight's action plays out. You know, so I just think, and that's one thing a lot of people love about us is our transparency. You know, and so yes, you know, I would be lying if I would say when I'm losing it, you know, I'm not upset. The comments don't get to me a little bit, but I'm in a way better headspace now than I used to be. They used to beat me up too. I'd be like, bro, why are they so mean? Like,
you know, so the running joke behind the scenes with Mitch and I was the biggest bettors. When I say the biggest bettors, the guys that bet the most money don't say anything. And then literally the smallest bettors, the guy that, like, I remember one guy went crazy because he watched either your video or Romanelli's video, and he bet a parlay that would have paid like $116,000 off free advice on YouTube. And the last game lost. And he incessantly emailed Mitch, hate emailing. I can't believe the guy didn't even pay for anything. And I'm like, can you imagine a guy losing his mind, writing you all these emails, and he got free advice from, we've had people.
Mitch had the sign. The loudest boos come from the cheapest seats.
There you go.
There it is.
Yep.
But
do we have any questions, Costi, that anybody wants to answer?
The question, so one of the questions earlier was regarding the betting tax.
In which state? So there's a 25-cent tax in Illinois that I'm aware of. I'm not aware of any other states.
That's the only state that I know of too, yeah. Well,
they already said it pulls your break-even number from 50. I think it was like 54% to 57%. So it increases if you're a high. Remember, if you're betting large amounts of money, like we had a client that bet $500,000 on the Super Bowl in Illinois. I actually sent him. Actually, let me look at the text that I sent him. Jim, let me look here. Jim. But where are you, Jimbo?
Man, guys, but I was just coming to say, hey.
Yeah, man, you could bounce. Appreciate.
Yeah, bounce off if you want, man.
This will be labeled as the Jay Briggs story. So for all of you, that will be you need to.
The Jay Briggs trying to make everyone cry story.
I didn't expect to A, come and stay this long. B, I sure didn't expect to come on here and cry today.
All right, it's good for you.
But hey, we're here, and what's done is done. So thank you guys for having me.
Jay was the first place loser. Technically, he did not win the handicapper contest. Just make sure everybody understands that.
Thank you guys for having me.
Oh, thanks, brother. Appreciate you popping in. Kind of did the Eric Pathy pop in without telling anybody.
Eric Pathy.
I like it. It was meant to be. Honestly, it was meant to be, man. Thanks for coming on.
Yes, sir. Y'all boys have a good day, and of course, I'll talk to y'all throughout the week.
Man, that was awesome. Unexpected too.
The answer to the question, because I sent it to Jimmy. So $100 better on the Illinois transaction fee. The break even is 53%. So if you win 53% of your games, you can break even and cover 110 juice on 100 wagers. So without the 50-cent fee, you have $118 net profit. With the fee, you have a $68 net profit. ROI drops 57.6% due to the fee. So a winning bettor that hits so basically a break even goes from 53% to 57%. It just kills you if you're a high value bettor. Now, betting $100 a game. With that being said, if you're betting $1,000 a game, the more you bet, because the fee doesn't go up, it's 25%.
It hurts you for guys that are betting small, but if they limit you, then you're betting small anyway. Listen, at the end of the day, they're going to keep trying to figure
because remember, then it's $110.25 versus $110.
Everything we talk about when it's limiting or the gambling tax or anything, it's really catered toward the pro. The casual bettor is still going to be able to put money down and not really hurt him because he's betting recreationally and not high volume. But on the left hand, they try to create something that's going to make it harder. On the right hand, we'll come up with a way to get around it. That's just how it's been for the last decade with the legal sports books. So again, guys, we appreciate each and every one of you. We will be back here next Thursday, 1 o'clock.
Oh, we got to keep it real here.
What's that?
We got to tell them why you're ending the show a little early. Come on, because you have an addiction.
Give it up. Addiction. It's not early. We did it. That's how we do it all the time.
No, usually we go from 1 to 2.
We started early.
But why did we start early? We
started early because
you have a tea time.
Has a tea time. I have
what time is the tea time?
Yeah, I do.
So let's tell everybody. You forgot.
No, we didn't forget anything.
So what time?
What
time's the tea time?
2:20.
You think you'll make it?
Yeah. So, guys, as always,
what an addiction! I thought sports betting was an addiction. You showed me a whole nother world.
I'm not addicted to sports betting. I'm addicted to golf. I do sports betting to make money.
No, I'm saying I thought that it could be a vice sports betting, but you showed me golf is an insane. Anybody you watching that's a golf person, get with Costi. You guys can go to golf.
I'll leave it with this.
Anonymous.
There was this post this guy made. He said, one day your driver is good, then one day it's not. One day your irons are good, and one day it's not. One day your chipping's good, one day it's not. Do all those 4 things and putting come together? No. Basically said if you live with a golfer, you're basically living with a psychopath. He just chooses to receive pain multiple times a day playing golf, trying to get something that is pretty much impossible to get, which is a perfect round. So with that being said, guys, we will be back here next week, same time, going over more strategy talk, and we might even have another guest as we're going through all the different guys at PickDawgz to give you guys their backstories. Thanks, Jay, for joining. Thanks, Eric, for joining. We'll be back here next week.
You got it. See you guys next week.